What if deep within the Ural Mountains, there exists a machine that could wipe entire nations off the map without a single human hand pressing a button? It sounds like a plot straight out of a Cold War thriller, yet this terrifying creation is not fiction. It is real, and it is known as Dead Hand. Officially called the Perimeter System, this semi-automated nuclear command network was built by the Soviet Union during the 1980s to ensure that even in the event of total destruction, Russia's nuclear arsenal would still strike back. It stands as one of humanity's most chilling inventions, a doomsday machine that could end civilization in less than 30 minutes. The birth of a terrifying idea. The Cold War was a period ruled by fear and mistrust. Soviet leaders constantly worried about a US first strike that could destroy Moscow's leadership and military command before they could issue a retaliatory order. In such a scenario, the principle of mutually assured destruction would collapse, and the Soviet Union would be left defenseless. Determined never to allow that to happen, their scientists designed a system that could think and act on its own if the Kremlin fell silent. Thus, in 1985, the Perimeter System, nicknamed Dead Hand in the West, came online. Its purpose was brutally simple: guarantee retaliation no matter what. Once activated during a crisis, the system could monitor sensors spread across the country, tracking seismic vibrations, radiation spikes, atmospheric pressure changes, and communication signals. If it detected signs of a nuclear attack and discovered that Moscow's leaders were no longer responding, it would assume the worst, that the government had been obliterated, and it would unleash Russia's nuclear arsenal automatically. How the system works. When Dead Hand is switched on, it becomes a silent guardian, waiting and watching for signs of catastrophe. If nuclear explosions are detected and communication lines go dead, the system interprets the silence as confirmation that command authorities have been destroyed. After a brief delay, believed to range from 15 minutes to an hour, it initiates a sequence that could end the world. Instead of launching nuclear warheads directly, it fires special command missiles. These missiles, flying high above the atmosphere, broadcast launch signals to surviving missile silos, submarines, and mobile launchers scattered across Russia. Even if every human operator is gone, the automated systems within these facilities can receive the signal, open their silos, and launch their missiles toward predetermined targets in the United States and NATO countries. The process removes the need for human approval and ensures that no enemy could escape retaliation, even after destroying the Russian state. The bunker beneath the mountain. The control center of Dead Hand is believed to be buried beneath Kosvinsky-Kamen Mountain in the northern Urals. Protected by over 1,000 feet of granite, the site was built to withstand direct nuclear strikes. Journalist David Hoffman described the main control room as an immense underground sphere, one of the most secure and secret bunkers ever constructed during the Cold War. Inside, a small group of officers monitor a few flickering lights that could signal the end of the world. Satellite images later revealed major expansions to the facility between 2003 and 2014, coinciding with reports that the perimeter system had been upgraded to match modern technology. Whatever happens inside that mountain remains classified, but it is almost certain that the system has not been left to decay. Cold logic and ruthless design. At first glance, the creation of Dead Hand seems insane, yet from the Soviet perspective, it was an act of logic. Nuclear deterrence relied on the certainty of mutual destruction, but that certainty could collapse if one side managed to destroy the other's decision makers first. Dead Hand was designed to make sure that could never happen. It was a grim insurance policy, a final safeguard against total annihilation. It also served a psychological purpose. Soviet commanders no longer had to live with the unbearable pressure of deciding whether to retaliate in minutes. If the worst happened, the machine would take care of it. Ironically, the system may have also prevented accidental war by requiring multiple layers of verification before it could act. According to one of its developers, Vladimir Yarinich, Dead Hand was not only a retaliatory weapon, but also a stabilizing mechanism meant to prevent rash decisions based on false alarms or incomplete data. The man who saved the world. To understand the danger of automation, one must remember the night Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov saved humanity. On September 26, 1983, 2 years before Dead Hand went live, Petrov was on duty at a Soviet early warning station when his screen flashed a terrifying message. 5 American nuclear missiles were on their way. Protocol demanded he report the attack immediately, which would have triggered an all-out nuclear response. But something didn't add up. Petrov reasoned that if the US truly intended a first strike, it would launch hundreds of missiles, not just 5. Trusting his instincts, he dismissed the alert as a computer error. He was right. Sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds had fooled the satellite sensors. Petrov's refusal to follow orders likely prevented World War III. But what if Dead Hand had been active that night? Machines do not question their data or hesitate out of doubt. They execute commands. That thought alone exposes the deadly fragility of automation in matters of nuclear war. The system that refuses to die. Although Russia has never officially confirmed the status of Dead Hand, evidence suggests the system remains operational. In 2011, Colonel General Sergei Karakayev, head of Russia's strategic missile forces, admitted that the perimeter system still existed and had been upgraded over the previous 2 decades. He claimed it could destroy the United States in just 30 minutes. Former President Dmitry Medvedev has also alluded to its continued presence, warning Western nations to fear the Dead Hand. Analysts believe that the modern version of the system may now integrate artificial intelligence, satellite communications, and cyber defenses. It is likely far more advanced than the version built in 1985, capable of responding to threats in space, cyberspace, and beyond. With an estimated 5,500 nuclear warheads under its command, Russia maintains the largest nuclear arsenal in the world, and Dead Hand may well serve as its ultimate overseer. The danger of a perfect system. Dead Hand represents the ultimate paradox of deterrence. It was created to prevent nuclear war, yet it might one day cause one by mistake. What if an earthquake were mistaken for a nuclear blast? What if a solar flare or cyber attack disrupted communication networks, leading the system to conclude that leadership had been wiped out? The world has come close to such disasters before. In 1979, a computer glitch at NORAD falsely indicated 2,200 incoming Soviet missiles, nearly triggering a US response. In 1995, a Norwegian scientific rocket was mistaken for a US nuclear launch, prompting Russian President Boris Yeltsin to open his nuclear briefcase. Each of these incidents ended without catastrophe only because human beings chose restraint over panic. Machines, however, do not possess that kind of wisdom. They cannot feel doubt, compassion, or fear, only execute what they are programmed to do. The automation paradox. Critics of Dead Hand argue that entrusting machines with the power to end humanity is the height of recklessness. No matter how advanced the programming, there is always a chance of error, a false signal, a misinterpreted reading, a malfunctioning sensor. Even the tiniest mistake could lead to irreversible catastrophe. Moreover, the very existence of such a system creates instability. In a crisis, an opposing nation might choose to strike first, fearing that any delay could allow an automated launch. This logic of fear and preemption, embedded in Cold War thinking, remains one of the most dangerous legacies of that era. The perimeter system in this sense is not merely a weapon, but a psychological trigger that ensures mutual paranoia never fully disappears. A relic that still haunts the future. Recent satellite imagery shows continued activity at the Kozvinsky-Kamenn complex, suggesting that Russia may still maintain or modernize the system. Defense analysts suspect that Dead Hand has been updated to handle 21st century threats such as cyber warfare and orbital weapon systems. Whether it operates entirely automatically or requires human authorization remains unknown, yet the mere fact that it still exists is enough to unsettle the world. Dead Hand has become both a ghost of the past and a warning for the future, a reminder that even as technology evolves, humanity's capacity for self-destruction endures. The machine that could outlive humanity. In the modern era of artificial intelligence and automated warfare, Dead Hand stands as a grim symbol of what happens when machines inherit decisions once reserved for humans. During the Cold War, restraint and reason, qualities embodied by individuals like Stanislav Petrov, saved the world from destruction. But in an age where algorithms manage everything from financial markets to missile defense, the question becomes disturbingly relevant. Can we trust machines with humanity's fate? The answer may determine whether civilization survives the next major crisis. And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed this breakdown and learned something new, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.